Hey guys, King Shaka here,
This is Joe.
and welcome to Team Jozu's first podcast. All right, so for today's agenda, we're going to talk about the esports scene, mainly talk about the League of Legends, a little bit of controversy that we've been seeing with the players' pay and when Rito comes out with their patches. Joe's going to talk about Titanfall 2 and his experiences with the closed beta. And then we'll cap things off with Evolved Stage 2 and why it's suddenly down to 3,000 players. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so League of Legends. It's a pretty fun game, pretty popular. Fun if you're like high elo, diamond or challenger. But there's been a little bit of controversy about when Rito comes out with their patches. It used to be that Rito come out with major patches pre-season, mid-season, after the midsummer split, and then right before Worlds. But now it seems like they're applying patches in the middle of a split, changing things up. I know team owners such as Reginald of TSM has voiced his opinion on this, saying that, he thinks it's pretty shitty for Riot to come out with these patches so frequently. It takes a toll on the players, and right now, the current state of the NA/LCS is pretty shaky. Right now, if you get regulated out of the LCS, which we'll essentially call the major league, you're essentially pretty much over with. All your investors pulls out, and your players pretty much get kicked out because you can't afford, because you don't have the money to back you up. So Riot notices this, realizes it, but doesn't really do anything about it. I mean, we're in our 6th season into League of Legends. League of Legends has been under LCS since season 2 when the change first went over. Now, Challenger Series, obviously, young talent, supposed to be built up, get into the LCS scene, but once they get there, they seem to falter. We always have our main established teams such as TSM, Cloud9, Team Liquid, and CLG, the big 4 organizations, while everyone else kind of just floats around and gets regulated because it could be the fact that there's no really support for these players or team organizations to really build up their roster and really compete.
All right. So you were talking about these patches. How do they change the gameplay so effectively, and why are they affecting the team so much?
So Riot is all about balance. They don't like one thing to be overpowered. Over the years, it has been a main focus of team play. Just recently, the latest patch, I believe 6.16, had made it to where if your team gets the first turret destroyed, you destroy the first turret, you get an extra, depending on how you distribute the gold, an extra 300 gold, which essentially is getting a kill on the enemy team, but it's distributed across everyone. So that's a big change, because even though we have normal players that probably is like, they play standard lanes. In LCS, it was a common theme to have lane swaps. So your bot lane would go top lane, and your top lane would go bot lane. And so bot lanes face the enemy top laner and vice versa. Just so it makes it a little bit more even, and you can have different types of jungle pressure. Now you're kind of more forced into a standard lane, and changing that in the middle of a season or right before a playoffs is actually destroys your strategy. You actually have to change how you think about the early game. Do you want to forfeit this early gold but end up getting Rift Herald? Or do you want to play the map out to where topside maybe loses out in the gold, but you end up picking up a dragon instead? So it's mainly favored, honestly, towards the bot side, because at a very early level, it is really hard to get that Rift Herald. And Riot realizes this and actually did make it harder to get Rift Herald several patches ago, but they made the reward greater since Rift Herald now lasts for 20 minutes and doesn't apply any lane buffs, just buffs to the person who receives Rift Herald. So really the timing of when they place these patches affects the mentality of players, because they're playing Reginald. he stated that his players, they wake up at 10 o'clock, they review videos from 10 to 12, and then from 12 to 9, they are scrimming. They are scrimming for over 9 hours, pretty much without a break. And then they go off into solo queue kind of to relax. But, if essentially they're playing League of Legends or have the mindset of League of Legends from when they wake up and from when they go to bed. So doing all this hard work, if then suddenly there's a patch change, now you have to change your entire mentality.
So should they focus more on games like Rainbow Six, for example, who does at the beginning of the season they'll do a patch, and at the end of the season they'll patch with minor fixes in the beginning instead of these huge adjustments?
I think that would be actually more beneficial because the way League of Legends is now currently set up, after the spring split, the winners of each region of the spring split goes to this tournament called MSI. Well, that tournament is only for a couple weeks, and then boom, we're put into the summer split. So I think it would be more beneficial to apply patches pre-season, and then honestly, before Worlds, and then patch postseason. So that's what I think.
That would seem to make the most sense.
Right. Because you're going to have these players spend hours and hours. And with these smaller organizations, they just get in the LCS scene and then they're trying to figure things out. Because obviously, Challenger meta is similar to professional, I'll say the Major League meta, but really it's a little bit different. You're not going to see the same plays you'll see in the Challenger scene. Now, I'm not saying these players aren't talented. They definitely deserve their merit. But getting the LCS, they got to change your mentality. I think TSM has one of the best mentalities of focusing on winning playoffs. Challenger team, your mentality is getting to LCS, then you're backed with a lot more money and sponsors. But then at that point, your main focus should be winning playoffs, not trying to get by, not trying to beat other teams, but by winning playoffs and really focusing on that championship, which I think the problem is that in the challenger scene, they're not really taught to think that way. They're taught to get in the LCS so they can get sponsors, but then it kind of collapses because then they don't really have the coaching support or the ownership really taking charge in trying to make sure these teams succeed. Reginald, when his team kind of falters, he steps in big time and he makes sure the players understand his mentality and really work hard. I really don't see that with other organizations such as CLG and Team Liquid, which I think would be more beneficial because those organizations, CLG winning 2 splits in a row, but faltered, get 3-0'd in this split because of their mentality. Now, they had a mentality of teamwork. Well, obviously, you have to have a mentality of teamwork in order to win the game. But see, the problem is they never really focused on their strengths. They just focused on helping each other out, which ultimately ended having them end up losing to TSM. Now, that may not be a popular opinion, but that's what I saw when they got 3-0'd by TSM.
All right.
So, but that's all I have to say about that.
That's all you have to say.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. So I bought No Man's Sky. So why don't you buy No Man's Sky, King Shaka, real quick?
Because I saw it had a flipping 50% review on fucking Steam. This thing is terrible. It went back down to 49%. At its peak, it was at 57%. And it dropped down to 49.
Because that's what I'll do in my spare time is I'll read Steam reviews on bad games. And I saw No Man's Sky was on there. And when I was playing on PS4, I was like, oh, man, this game is not going to get good reviews. But I played, I'm not going to lie to you guys, probably about 30 hours worth of No Man's Sky. And, man, every time I walked away from my controller or my TV, I was like, what am I even doing? But I go right back, grind out gold, and there's nothing even to farm. They're like, crap. All right, so let's talk the game real quick. They said crafting was going to be a huge thing in this game.
Yeah, that's like in every Survivor game.
Yeah, like every survival game. You could probably maybe craft like 15 objects in this game, maybe 20, other than like multi-tool upgrades, exosuit upgrades, and starship upgrades. But It's just nothing even fun. And then it's like, let me drop some knowledge on you guys. So I was playing No Man's Sky, getting my second hyperdrive. I know you haven't played it yet.
No,
I need
because
to.
it's terrible. But go ahead.
It's terrible. Oh, was it? I need to get a second hyperdrive. Was it a hyperdrive? It wasn't a hyperdrive. Cut. I'm off topic.
You're off topic. All right, you gotta start all over again. All right, good.
All right, so the game was clearly overhyped. Everyone now in the community is like, it wasn't overhyped. We were just lied to by the Hello Games lead game designer.
No, they overhyped the hell out of it,
They overhyped
and then they lied.
And then
They said it was going to be a good game, but it's not. That's why I haven't bought it. The reason, this is what I talked about way earlier in my channel at Zulu Gaming Studios, is bad PC ports. And this is a case of not even a bad PC port. This is a case of just a bad game. It's a good game. It's a good idea, you know, going different planets, exploring, surviving, all that good stuff.
But just walking around on the planet,
exactly,
you know, and then leaving it. Hardcore survival game.
Well, you can't even leave.
No, you can leave the planet. You won't die. I mean, if you die, if a planet kills you, I'm sorry, but you probably should not be playing video games. Because you could just walk in your ship and leave the planet and be like, oh man, this is a terrible fireball of a planet. Why would you stay there? Just leave. I left so many planets like that. And even so you have heat shields or your exosuit shield. So it's like, oh no, you're slowly dying of fire death or freezing to death, and you can craft a heat shield to make you stay alive longer, which you have to recharge. Everyone hates to recharge. But as it slowly declines, it's not like it's some surprise that you die, but you should be able to live. If you can't live on a planet, you really, really have some issues. No lie. But as you were, go on.
But I mean, the best function of the PC one is that you can hit the refund button and refund your game back. It's just, I hate it when, I don't mind indie games. I actually support indie games because I want something different. This was something different, but it failed to execute. If you have a good idea, you have to execute. If you can't execute, then no one's going to buy your shit. Your company's going to fail, and then you're going to be ending up on the streets having a sign saying, we'll code for food. But everyone saw how bad No Man's Sky was, so no one's going to believe. No one wants that ish. So that's what I just am reluctant to even try this game. Even just waste the time of buying it and refunding it. It's just, it's a good concept, but you have to look at other survivor games such as Minecraft, Don't Starve Together, kinda, and Ark Survival Guide. Even though Ark Survival Guide is glitchy as hell, it is still more fun than this game. I enjoy riding on the back of a T-Rex, destroying someone's little wood base because they weren't smart enough to get flipping metal.
So you're that guy destroying my wood base when I camp out in the woods.
Exactly. Just
hiding away.
You're just sleeping and your base starts shaking, and I'm just destroying the hell out of it.
I'm just trying to survive out there, and some guy comes up on a T-Rex, start trampling my base. Here I'm punching trees again for wood and stones. Rebuilding. That's why I went deep into the woods away from everyone, so I couldn't be found.
Exactly. In this case, no one is ever going to find you. No one is ever going to find you.
In those 18 quintillion planets?
Yeah, 18 quintillion is a big-ass number, and I call bullshit on that there's actually 18 quintillion planets. This game is not big enough to hold 18 quintillion planets that are exactly different. If there's repeat planets, then they fucking lied to someone, because there's no way they can have 18 quintillion planets. It's just, if you're looking for a survival game, don't look here. You'll be greatly disappointed. Just go to Ark if you like a 3D survival game. If you like blocky survival games, go to Minecraft. And if you like a 2D survival game, I recommend Don't Starve.
Go to any other survival game but this one until about a year from now when all the patches have been released. And don't buy any paid DLC for this game. It's just going to be another way for them to make money, so they can justify how awesome this game was.
I don't even recommend waiting a year. Just don't even buy it.
Don't even buy it.
A game nowadays has a first impression, and if you fail on that first impression, there is no coming back.
Yep. Oh, we should talk more about those first impressions, man. let's talk about Titanfall real quick. So
All
we
right,
got the
Joe,
time.
lay
Let's
some
just
knowledge on us about this
roll into
Titanfall.
Titanfall.
Okay.
So I played once again about 10, 15 hours of the multiplayer technical test, or beta, or pre-alpha, whatever they want to call it now to avoid calling it a beta. So I played the first Titanfall as well. Played that for about a month and then stopped playing when everyone else did. And what I've been reading on Reddit, the internet, is Titanfall 2 was made by people who hate the first Titanfall, and I absolutely agree with them. The game is so the two game modes that were available, three. I only played two of them. I played Pilot versus Pilot, which was, I guess, Call of Duty port. I know if you're really into that with grappling hooks and some cool little grenades. And then I played Bounty Hunt, which is a confusing, complicated game mode that was rage-inducing, because the basic idea is you have to farm grunts. So you go around MOBA-based-ish, farming grunts, and then you will get money for it. Then the bank opens, there are two banks, and you run over and you deposit the grunts, the money that you made farming grunts, into the bank. And it's so first one to $5,000 or 15 minutes, whoever has the highest score. So this seems all fun at first. Like there's certain levels as it goes on, more difficult enemies show up. Not really difficult, but ones that are worth more money. And this game turns into the only way to get your Titan is if you kill other players, so it's no longer on a timer. So there's far, far less Titans in the game. And if your team's performing badly, you're always going to be at a disadvantage, because if the other team's killing you, the other team's going to be having their Titans a lot faster, and you're just going to be sitting there just getting stomped on. But let's talk about the good that I saw in the game. Clint, did you ever play the first Titanfall?
I bought it for EA, and then I refunded it because it was not even worth buying because no one was on it. So
that makes sense. Well, you must have bought it a while ago then, not too long ago.
Yeah, I bought it when it was on sale and then returned it immediately. And then I thought Dead Space 3 would be like Dead Space 1 and 2, but it's actually like Titanfall. So
no, Dead Space 3 was the more action version out of all the Dead Spaces. It got more away from the horde genre, but we're way somewhere else right now when we need to come back to Titanfall.
Yeah, back to this terrible game.
Back to this terrible pre-alpha that everyone hates.
So no one likes the pre-alpha. It's called Titanfall, but there's no Titans. Even when you do get a Titan, you're broken. You win the game essentially.
Yeah, well, there's still balance. If you have two average teams fighting against each other, you'll both get Titans around the same time. But if you're pretty much stomping on the other team, they're gonna have a terrible time, and it's a long 15 minutes in that game mode. So a lot of people were quitting, and then some people aren't getting match made back into it. So you end up in these 2v5 matches or these 2v4 matches, just really slow gameplay. And that's some of the first matches I played. I was like, man, this game really sucks. It's slow. The level design is just completely different than the last one. The grappling hook was just absolutely terrible, which everyone was complaining lately that they advertised the grappling hook like, oh, that's just a cool grappling hook. It's going to be on every class, but really it's a add-on ability.
Why the heck do you need a grappling hook? I know this was flipping Arkham City, flying from building to building. It's a flipping shooter. Like, put some jetpacks in there. Or...
Put some jetpacks and some ground sliding and some...
Exactly. Some shoot through walls and
all this other
pay to win that Call of Duty is now. But that's for a different podcast. That's for like 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare comes out in a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll talk about why you shouldn't buy that either. But back to why you should probably not buy Titanfall 2. Because
as right now the game is going to have a single player, and as for the multiplayer, Respawn's actually listening to their community, and they're making some huge adjustments. So the second technical test is happening this weekend, starting the 26th. So we'll be able to play with, I believe, new Titans, new pilot abilities, new levels. But what I do have some good things to say about Titanfall 2. I absolutely liked the Titans. I wouldn't say loved, because I'm not into robots. But you have Scorch and you have Ion right now. Ion is extremely underpowered. I saw a lot of people running him for some reason, and all he does is shoot like lasers and has another laser and then has a body laser. He's like a Star Wars character, just a bunch of lasers. But when faced against Scorch, which is an absolutely brilliant idea for a mech, he's a mech that combos, like his abilities stack, and he's excellent at like lane control, all his abilities are mostly AoE effects, and he does high damage. But he's a standout for me, how good the game can be. So I still have faith in the game. Will I buy it for $60? King Shaka, I buy everything for $60. I just bought Deus Ex today.
You need to stop that. That's what Steam sales are for.
That's
why PC is better, but we'll have a different discussion on that.
The
That's
master race.
Right. We'll discuss why the master race is superior to you console plebs.
These console peasants.
The only reason to buy consoles for Kingdom Hearts 3, or at least be told Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out on your console. So, but that's for a different story. I kind of just wish that these games would stop these gimmicks of Titans and shit and don't have real Titans. Let's just be real here. We all just want a flipping Gundam game that's essentially like Call of Duty. So we're all playing Gundams and doing shit. 'Cause that's what, honestly, that's what I was thinking about when he was describing the Titans was, shit, we might as well just flip and play Gundam at this point. Honestly, I would be down for a Gundam game that's like a shooter base. That's good.
That's good.
Not a fighting based Gundam game. No,
or a Dynasty Warriors game.
Or a Dynasty Warriors game. No, I want straight 5-man teams shooting. Someone make a game about that.
Laser
Someone get the
swords,
fun.
tank
Laser swords. Yeah, right. You just have like different Gundam classes. You know, you have your attack Gundam class. You have your defense Gundam class. You have your support Gundam class. You have your sniping Gundam class. Your bruiser, whatever Gundam class, or berserker, and then just go to Pound Town. There you go. That's a game idea someone needs to come out with, and if they don't, in the next 2 years, I will be highly disappointed in the anime world and the video game world for not even making our dreams come true.
They're not even doing Gundam anymore, are they?
No, they're still doing Gundam. Gundam's like a staple right now.
See, I don't know anything about it. I haven't watched it.
There's like has been a Gundam almost every single year. I'm not even kidding. I just watched Gundam from Sweden. This is for a different discussion, but just to quickly talk about how important Gundam is. There's literally just been a Gundam in the spring season of anime, and now there's a Gundam here in the summer season of anime. So Gundam is never going away. They'll just revamp Gundam in some way or form. They could start all over, and I'll still watch it all.
I still watch it all.
Still will watch it all. But that's enough about that shitty game. Let's talk about another one, and that's called Evolve Stage 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut here.
Alright, so this game blew up and went free to play.
Right, go ahead and say what you're going to say, Joe.
Alright, so Evolve Stage 2. Well, Evolve went free to play, and it's called Evolve Stage 2.
Still
so
terrible game.
Shaka? What do you think about it?
It's definitely worth looking at now that it's free. It's definitely worth playing a couple times. But then if you're not the monster, you pretty much lose.
So why doesn't this game have staying power? It went free to play, its numbers shot through the roof, and then we were just looking at the Steam charts, and it's back down to 4,000.
All right,
so it's going to slowly go down.
So I mean, the gameplay, the game looked good. It looked decent. It wasn't bad. You know, I enjoyed a couple things about it. The only thing I didn't enjoy is pretty much I lose every game because the monster is pretty much broken. And I'm specifically talking about the Wraith monster. I mean, seriously, you just go that monster, you essentially get to like level 2. You don't even have to get to level 3. You get to level 2 and you just win the game. The game's not fun because you die once and you're pretty much just screwed. There's no chance of, there's not like extra lives or like a respawn point. I think if the game had went in more of that direction with respawn points and checkpoints and stuff like that, then I think the game would be more enjoyable. Also more diversity with the monsters. Also, the game is slow as hell to get to other characters. I mean, to actually diversify. Like, you will be stuck on with certain characters for at least 20
like
games, 10 games.
Yeah, if you're playing for like a week straight, you won't be able to. I mean, they have like the free-to-play model where if you show up every day or daily, they give you bonus. I think it's silver in this game, or bonus this, or maybe each week they release a new character that you have to play with. So if they give you like an absolute terrible character, Bucket, for example, I hate this character. He's a terrible support. Why he's in this game, I will never understand. Just because he has gun turrets. I like don't get it. I don't think he provides an overshield to his team. He's just all about his. Well, it took his UAV out, but
Exactly.
gun
You took out
turrets,
the
rocket
best
launcher.
part of the support and
Yep.
made him useless. Yeah,
Yeah,
you pretty
so
much
you have
just
to
neutered
start
him.
playing him, and then it's just all about silver base. So the more you play, the more you can unlock. And obviously, right now everything's free across the board. You have no microtransactions yet, and the Turtle Rock is paying a lot of attention to this game. They're doing epic skins, but the characters you get are the characters you have for a long time. So when you spend your silver to buy someone, you better make sure you want to play that class and hope no one else is. Otherwise, you're gonna go to some default character that you're gonna have a terrible time with because
Yep.
you don't know them, and then
Oh,
you're gonna put yourself at a disadvantage.
and then just getting upgrades also just takes a while. So you got the pair
Yeah,
you wanted, but you have zero upgrades.
it's
So
all prioritizing. Then you had to save up for your upgrades for things. It's your basic free-to-play grind model.
yeah, but
It's not a
these
bad game.
upgrades are expensive as hell. Like it's a
Yes, and they're very
1,000
crucial.
silver for one upgrade. You win, you get probably max like 300 silver. Now I'm just making that number up, and I don't have to quote nothing, but the amount of silver I get is extremely low. I don't think. It's actually faster. I've this game called Killing Floor 2. It's actually faster. It's faster for me to fully upgrade every single character than upgrade one character in Evolve Stage 2. Now, I
Yep.
don't mind there being a grindage. I understand that, but it shouldn't be monotonous. And there's so many different upgrades. You don't even know what to pick.
Yep.
Um,
Unless you're like a
unless
seasoned player or what you're
if
going
you're a
up
seasoned
against.
player or you actually adequately research what's the best upgrades
Layout for
this
that
class,
character.
right? For that character. So, but this game it also has a competitive. I don't even know how you could do a competitive. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't really care. Um, Unless it's like a team versus team, like who could kill the monster first or capture the monster first. But then if you only play monster, I don't know how that works. Whoever kills the team first. I don't know how you even do a competitive for this, but um, definitely.
The game's fun that it's free. Check it out if you will like free games. You want to. I mean, you have don't. It's going to cost you absolutely nothing right now. They're adding tons of new characters. Just follow their Twitter and see which character is the most OP by following the complaints in the Twitter feed. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
And
if
then
you
stay away from the monster because they either run away from you until they're staged. That's by far my biggest issue with this game.
it's stages. Why
It's
do they
cat
have
and mouse
3
game.
stages? I don't even mind that. It's just their map is too damn big.
And the monster just runs the whole time. Like you'll capture him. Me and King Shaka
Me
were
and
playing,
Joe played.
chasing a Goliath around, and we captured him in the bubble. He would climb the tower, so we'd chase up after him. Then and if we didn't chase him, he would just stay up there. So we chased him up. Then he would jump down, run behind the building. Then we'd come back down, and then he'd climb back up, and we'd climb back up, chase him up there, like doing minimal amount of damage to him over and over and over again. And then he ran away. Got stage 2, got stage 3, came back, no problem, killed us, and it was like, what a waste of my time. Like, I can't, it was like, it's the monster's job to just level up, which is a core mechanic of the game. But it's his job to run away from you, because he's not, I mean, he can beat you at stage 1 if he's a good monster, depending on the monster, depending on the player, depending on your team composition.
If he's Wraith, he pretty much just owns your
Yeah,
ass.
Wraith, Elder Kraken, pretty much any of the OP monsters, but a game that values them running so they can get strong enough so they can kill the hunters just builds for like a bad mechanic. It feels like I'm always feel like disappointed or like trying to catch the monster inside the bubble when I've already caught the monster because it's just running for me.
It's pretty much like the game time is what 10 minutes.
Yeah, they actually added a
Nine
timer.
of those minutes you're trying to find the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then you try to kill it in 1 minute, but it just kills you in like 30 seconds. It
Personally,
literally can just there's no really any type of strategy because the monster honestly can just focus the person that tries to revive
Yeah, if you're the man, you're
everyone.
gonna have a terrible time in that
Right.
game. You're gonna get focused hard. You're gonna get killed. And you're like, oh, why am I even playing this? I mean, if you have a good support, he can overshield you often, and your assault can hit him with damage, and your tracker can try and trap him. Which I picture those harpoons being just complete useless sometimes with a decent monster because once they feel them, it's one hit and it comes detached. So you're like, shoot 3 traps out. He's like, oh, hits them all off, and then he runs at you again. You're just like, man, like hold him a little bit.
And
Like,
also another mechanic that I think just doesn't really work in general is like the weak point mechanic, where it just shows random targets on the monster as weak. I really see it affect nothing. Like we would be literally fighting for at least a minute, and its armor is finally gone, and then it escapes, and then we're just like,
then it
well,
can
shit.
regenerate its armor by eating monsters. Once its armor gone, it should not. It should be at health until it evolves and gets a little bit more armor.
Right. So
Like the monster is just, it just has too many handicaps to me. It's just like, oh, you're being a bad monster. Oh, you took a lot of damage because you made a bad play. He's not being punished for it. He just runs away, goes eats monster, regenerates his shield, and then he comes back. Got to work his shield back down, and that's half your time in the bubble is working the shield down on the monster.
right.
But I'm
And
not
if,
like a veteran game at this. Like hands down, I mean, I probably play averagely.
I mean,
I
you
lose-
don't even have to be a veteran game in it. A game should be fun as soon as you just start playing it. It should grab your attention. As soon as I start playing this game, I'm spending. The introduction was more fun than actually trying to play the game with other people.
There are a lot of weird mechanics in it. Like you said, like the weak spot. Certain what are they? Trappers. They'll put the medic can put the medics, they put weak spots on the monster. Some of them last a long time, or you have other medics who shoot them with a gun, but that weak spot's only there for 1 bullet or a certain amount of damage. So it's always lining them up, and you're always doing very minimal amounts of damage to them. And it's hard to pinpoint the monster with the longer weak spots because it's jumping around and hitting you everywhere, being super obnoxious. And that's all I gotta say about that. Fuck Evolve. No, I don't know. It's alright. It's average.
It's definitely look at it.
It has no staying
if you have
power.
time. Yeah, it has no. You're gonna play it for a little bit, get bored because you're just chasing a monster. Unless you're the monster, I mean, you're gonna have a flipping grand old time.
Then you'll be
When
stomping
you
everyone.
when you actually fight, 9 minutes in the game after you spend 8
Hours of
minutes
running
just
away.
hiding and running. Like that's just the problem. The game, it's not
Good idea.
balanced. The maps are too big. It takes forever just to get to find the damn monster. There should just be a starting point where you're close to the monster. Do some damage.
Well, console
but-
when it got into a smaller game, it actually had a battle arena mode where the monster would start off like stage 2 or stage 3 against 4 hunters, and you just fight the monster the whole time, which probably was difficult because the monster was already stage 3, so you got to figure out how to kill it. But if you were a pretty solid team, you were gonna
With
win.
upgrades.
Double no win anyway. Yeah,
It's pretty much you have to have upgrades.
Yeah,
And I
you're
haven't
at a
even really
severe
looked.
disadvantage right now.
Yeah, right. And I haven't even looked too hard into the upgrades. I'm sure there's like weapon upgrades, but I mean, honestly, playing it fresh and not knowing, knowing the basics of the game, it's just not fun and doesn't capture anyone's attention.
Yeah, at least my attention. Maybe yours, maybe someone else's, not mine.
Someone probably actually genuinely enjoys this
Enjoys
game,
playing it.
but it's not me or Joe. So that's why it's uninstalled and not taking up
That's why it's
space on my computer.
That's why I uninstalled it. It's
So-
still taking up space on my computer.
No, you need to delete that ish. But I think that's all the time we have. I was King Shaka,
I was Joe.
and we appreciate you guys coming out and listening to us talk about how shitty games are. But we will see you guys in the next podcast where we will talk about game of whatever.
Where we're more organized and have better topics to talk about.
Right. So we'll see you guys next time with some more hilarious commentary. Peace.